you, and we are 2 hours away from the return of the XFL. They're going to try it for a third time. So in honor of the XFL returning, we are going to dive back into the XFL, which is our Fantasy Draft Legends League. So let's talk about, as we play through, I want to also talk about some RXFL or some XFL action. We got the RXFL, the XFL. Who you're rooting for, what players you got your eyes on, and all that. We'll talk about it as well as we get into it. But for our league, it's been a little while since the last time we played with the RXFL. So we're going to take a look at the standings again quickly. And you can see we are kicking things off on a Week 11 Thursday Night Football. And here in the latter stages of the season, you see the Redwoods and the LA Kiss. That's the game you're getting tonight, and you're going to see that LA and Sacramento are going to play each other twice in the next month here coming up. So that's going to be big business, and you can kind of see how big this game is. And a quick look at the stand. We'll run through them real quick, but you can see London doing well in the North, and the Armadillos got a 2-game lead in the American South. The American East up for grabs. You got the Shamrocks, the Celtic Tigers, the Huskies all in the mix. And in the American West, this is the big one. 7-2 versus 7-2. Number 2 ranked Sacramento Redwoods going up against the 5th ranked LA Kiss. And that's going to be big business this game, and you can also see that the Lancers, Oklahoma City, right there behind at 6-3. So in the American West, you got 3 teams in the top 7. And as you guys know, what do we settle on? Like after week 5 or week 6, we start to rank the teams college football style, trying to get a little bit of mix of that in here. But this is going to be a top tier matchup and possibly an American championship preview here between the Redwoods and the LA Kiss. On the national side of things, pretty competitive northern division between the Golden Eagles and the Wolverines, with the Wolverines and the Golden Eagles having that really knockdown, drag-out fight earlier in the season. In the South, you got the Tampa Bay Mutiny kind of running away with things. They got a 3-game lead looking at the postseason. This one up for grab, too. You got the Benjamins, the Aviators, and the Desperados all in the mix. And if the Marshalls can keep winning as well, they're going to be right in the hunt. And in the West, it's a huge lead. The Portland Lumberjacks at 8-1. They're all over the San Francisco Demons, the Las Vegas Firebirds, and the San Diego Aftershock. So that's kind of where we are in the RXFL. If you guys are just joining us for the first time, we did all the relocation teams possible that Madden would allow us, but they don't allow us to fill all 32 spots, so we kind of had to play around with the other teams. So obviously you see the Raiders and the Buccaneers and the Jets, but we do different uniforms. We call them different names. So the New York Jets are the New York Shamrocks. We have the, instead of the Oakland Raiders, of the LA Kiss with silver and black, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Tampa Bay Mutiny, and that kind of fun stuff. And it's all fantasy draft style with legends involved. So you got the legends, but you also got a couple of the current day players mixed in as well, which is kind of what we do with the XHL. That is our Patreon exclusive. It's our no rules league. Now this league does have rules, and there's a big demand as well. You guys on Patreon have been asking for it. We've been streaming the Sunday night XFL game over on Patreon, starting with the second half of the year. We're doing computer versus computer simulation to kind of try to give it a different feel. Well, I heard you loud and clear. You guys want to see me actually play the Sunday night game, so that's what we're going to start doing going forward here. And let's see what this week's Patreon exclusive Sunday night game is going to be. So we're going to start doing 5 games here, which means the season will go a little longer, but a little bonus for you guys. So the Sunday night, well, I looked at the team schedule. How about the league schedule? New Game Grumps video just dropped. They're playing some chicken game, so that's fun. So quick recap too as well. So we're about to do the Thursday night game, but we mentioned that we are going to see for the first time, where the heck are we? There we go. The Golden Eagles and the St. Louis Rhinos. Of course, the Golden Eagles, you saw just 2 losses on the year, the Rhinos, led by Jim Kelly and company. And then on the other side, we're going to see the Firebirds and the Lumberjacks. But you're also going to get on Monday night the London Bulldogs and the Tennessee Oilers. And then your Sunday night game, this will be your Patreon exclusive, Joe Montana and the Columbus Aviators going up against the Pittsburgh Sting. So that's going to be your Patreon exclusive game. 4 games here on YouTube, and then your Patreon exclusive as we're getting closer and closer to the RXFL postseason. So let's jump into this top battle. What were the rankings again? I gotta go look. I gotta remind myself here. But it's a top 5 battle, right? It's number 2 versus number 5 here. So let's jump into it. Our XFL, and we also want to talk as we go on about the XFL coming up. Who you guys going to be rooting for? What players do you got your eyes on? Let me know in the comments down below. So with the LA Kiss, we traditionally, I've probably done this a million times and looked at the different unis, but I want to play around with what they got here. You don't get too many options. They're kind of the classic, but that's why we picked this team to be the LA Kiss team, because they just remind you so much the black and silver of Kiss. And it was, as we kind of said, it was kind of fitting as well to have this team, because in our season mode with the Denver Broncos, this Raiders team moved away and became the Portland Riverhogs. So they went away as well, which was kind of unique that the silver and black would go away. So we'll bring him back in this incarnation. This is the one kind of rare team in the RXFL that is pretty much just mimicking their NFL uniform counterpart. So here we go. 7-2 versus 7-2, a top 5 matchup in the RXFL. The LA Kiss versus the Sacramento Redwoods. And at the top, we want to say a big thank you. We got a few new Patreons, so we want to thank you guys off the top for that. And we want to thank Justin Russell for joining at our mega fan tier, getting that shout out off the top. So thank you so much, Justin, for being a part of the action on Patreon. Justin reached out and said he loved the WWE Dark content from 2K22, all that extra content we've been putting up there. So while you're here, hit that subscribe button on YouTube to help the algorithm out. And hit the like button as well. Turn your notification bell on, all that fun stuff. And do join us on patreon.com/TBSports27 to not only help support the channel, but also to get that Patreon bonus exclusive content. So here we go. We are in Los Angeles. Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and company, they're all here for their LA Kiss. They had their first run 3 years with the Arena Football League, leading to 1 playoff berth, and they decided to purchase the very successful in our previous league, in our All-Pro 2K8 league, the Huntington Beach Killer Whales, who were very successful, 2 championship wins with them, and Huntington Beach was bought out by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, who are looking for another run. And you can see why this game is so important, because this is the difference between a potential first-round playoff bye and home field advantage throughout the postseason, or a wild card berth. So that's how big this 7-2 versus 7-2 game is, with the number 2 taking on number 5, as the winner is going to have that top seed in the American Conference, and your loser is going to be looking at a long run here in the postseason. So Sacramento and Los Angeles, California battle. Thursday night football. The sun's already set in California. Normally the sun would be up for a West Coast game like this. Otto Graham, 2,000 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, just 5 picks. Of course, on the other side, you got the great Terry Bradshaw looking to win his 5th Pro Football Championship here. So let's get going. This top flight matchup. Otto Graham, of course, lined up in the backfield. Saquon Barkley, and the give is to Barkley, and Barkley just gets run over by Luke Kuechly. Unbelievable. XFL starting up soon, 2 hours, and the team I'm going to be rooting for is the Arlington Renegades. Now, in the original XFL run, I was a New York Guardians fan, and I was originally going to join the Guardians as they switched over, and they became the Orlando Guardians. So originally, I was going to go with the Orlando Guardians to kind of keep up. Look at this, Otto Graham. He's got an open man. And it's caught one-handed by Warfield. What an unbelievable play. Paul Warfield. He's old school, but he went ahead and did the new school one-handed grab, and Otto Graham. Oh, my goodness. Warfield. He just reeled that one right in. That is unbelievable. So originally I was going to stick with the Guardians, being a New York Guardian fan. Then I was going to go with Orlando Guardians. I live in Florida, so it's fitting, right? Guardians in my home state, all that fun stuff. So in the early weeks, there's Kuechly with another big hit on Barkley. In the early weeks, I was all in with the Orlando Guardians. And then when they did the XFL draft, and I'm a big Kyle Sloter fan. And so in the USFL, I was a New Orleans Breakers fan with Kyle Sloter and Sal Cannella. Well, the Arlington Renegades brought Sal Cannella and Kyle Sloter in, and that kind of made me start to question. And I made the jump. So I went with the Arlington Renegades. I really like their colors as well, the powder blue and black. Don't know about the road uniforms yet. There's not enough black on the road uniforms. They're very white, but I gotta actually wait and see how they are in action. So Arlington Renegades, Kyle Sloter, and it just so happens that's the game that's kicking off the third try of the XFL here. Otto Graham pressured, touchdown. How about the opening drive for the Sacramento Redwoods, Chris Cooley for the green and brown. Oh, that's a late hit right there. That's Dan Connors. No flag thrown. This is the RXFL. Of course, this is the continuation of our 2K League, the Revolution League, Revolution Football League, the RFL, which was originally what we called the league, and then we found out there was another YouTuber with a similar name, the Relocation Football League, that used these similar teams. And one day, Madden will give us the ability to make our own teams. There actually is a new game that came out just recently. It was the Maximum Football or what have you, and so I might check that out because that might allow us to make some different teams. But kind of rolling with the teams we got here. And it's LA Kiss, and there's Terry Bradshaw, who's very similar numbers to one Otto Graham. But the fun thing with doing it here in Madden is you can use the Legends rosters that the folks have put together, not the EA folks. The folks on the community creations or what have you that have uploaded these really cool Legends rosters. Handoff to Jim Brown. And Jim Brown gonna wrestle forward. He's looking to break 1,000 yards on the year here in this ball game. So anyway, in the chat, let me know. We got a couple of you guys joining us in the chat. Hello to those of you always joining us. And let me know in the chat which XFL team you are going to be rooting for and why you're cheering for that particular team. So 3rd down and 7 now quickly for the LA Kiss and Terry Bradshaw. Quick throw, and it's incomplete. Nicely defended by Charles Woodson. So a 3 and out for the LA Kiss. The Sacramento goes opening drive down the field, and the Kiss here go 3 and out. Cribbs on the return. Gets a pretty good block. Nice juke, and he's going to get down to the 40 here. Isn't Woodson isn't in or no, that's Rod Woodson. That's Charles Woodson. I was like, isn't Rod Woodson an XFL coach? But that is Rod Woodson. But either way, Otto Graham here in Los Angeles. And this looks like an almost identical play to the one earlier that went for a bunch of yards. Just that route off to the sideline. We might be back, too, after the XFL game. There's a good chance we'll come back and stream a second time tonight. How's that? Where we can talk about the game. And I'm going to be dual screening later tonight because we have the Elimination Chamber, which is a big business game, or a big business event for the WWE, but also a pretty big game as the Houston Roughnecks are going to be putting their undefeated 3-year undefeated record on the line against the aforementioned Orlando Guardians. So I'm going to have the game on my phone here, and we are going to be watching the Elimination Chamber on the big screen. So kind of doing it up, double doing it up. 3rd and 4. Sacramento, though, well within field goal range here in Los Angeles. Pressure coming. Graham gets rid of it. Wide open. Touchdown, Redwoods. Holy smokes. Stanley Morgan. And once again, Otto Graham takes a big hit. That's the second time Otto Graham has hung in there, took in a hit, and delivered a touchdown pass. And the Sacramento Redwoods. It's almost like our UFL tribute. There was the Redwoods, which had these similar colors, green and white, in the UFL. And then they would become the Sacramento Mountain Lions later on. So we have little tributes to every league in here. We got arena football teams. We got old soccer teams. We got old UFL teams. In the chat, who's going to watch the Elimination Chamber tonight? Right here. We're going to be watching it tonight as well as the Guardians Roughnecks game as well. So we're going to be dual screening. We are into week 11 in the RXFL. And look at the total yards. It's been pure domination for the Redwoods. Jim Brown, he might have even lost a yard right there. 125 passing yards for the Redwoods, 0 for the LA Kiss. What was your favorite small, spring league football team? My first taste, and Terry Bradshaw, there we go, to Hines Ward. That's going to be a first time. There's an XFL coach right there, Hines Ward. The coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. My first experience with spring football would have been the original XFL in 2001. And I was an Orlando Rage fan. Again, living in Florida. Jim Brown. Solid run up the middle. And then after that, it was arena football for me, and I was with the Tampa Bay Storm. And then when the UFL came around, Florida Tuskers. They had the undefeated season, lost in the championship game. Good Brooks Bollinger. Of course, NFL Europe, I enjoyed watching that as well. I don't remember what NFL Europe team I like. I think I like the Galaxy. They're pretty cool. Oh, Jim Brown. Look at Jim Brown. And LA Kiss trying to answer this 14-0 deficit. This is Thursday Night Football in the RXFL. And then, after the UFL, then it was the AAF. And in that, let's see here, play action fake, and Terry Bradshaw, he's looking, and finally, Terry Bradshaw was looking for the end zone, and it got snatched away. Coach Gruden's not going to like that. Good protection, though, up front. AAF, I was a Hot Shots fan, Arizona Hot Shots. Jim Brown tackled just short by Charles Woodson. And, of course, the Hot Shots, what were they, like the second best team? And the AAF made their eventual decline. And then, like we said, it was off to the XFL, the new XFL. And we were a Guardians fan and a Breakers fan in the USFL. And Here we are getting ready for another spring football kickoff in just 2 hours. Very exciting. Eddie George steps in now for the LA Kiss. So I guess in my early days, it was a lot of the Florida teams because it was the Rage, the Tuskers, the... Here's the give to Eddie George again. And the Kiss are in the end zone. Touchdown, LA Kiss. Touchdown, Eddie George. Yeah, it was a lot of the Florida teams early on. The Storm, the Rage, the Tuskers, and then eventually Hot Shots and Guardians and Breakers. Look at the running by Eddie George and just swipes the football across the line. So that was a huge drive for the LA Kiss to keep them in this game. And what a first quarter we had here in Los Angeles, guys. 3 touchdowns. And we still got time here in the first quarter. Big time first quarter here on Thursday Night Football between 2 top 5 teams.
Let's go. Let's do this.
And Otto Graham we've seen him play a number of times here in the RXFL on these various streams, and he's had a big time game many previous games. I mean, the completion percentage usually for Otto Graham is fantastic, and you're kind of seeing what he's done in the first 2 drives. And here, getting ready to lead another drive as the Redwoods are going to go I formation with Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Running game hasn't been there just yet for the Redwoods. They're trying to establish that, just 5 yards on the ground. And you can see Saquon Barkley at 741 on the year. Pretty even, 5 rush, 5 pass. Just 10 plays on the Redwoods with 14 points. And Otto Graham, oh, dangerous, but look at Randy Moss, and that's a big reason there of why Otto Graham has been so dominant, is having Randy Moss come out west. And Otto Graham, a perfect 6 of 6. We've seen that before. Remember the game we had the Redwoods and the Atlanta Dirty Birds? And you guys remember how dominant Otto Graham was going up against Tom Brady. There's going to be your first incompletion of the game. It's going to be batted away by Connors. Dan the Man Connor. Dan Connor. 2nd down and 10. Quick one by Otto Graham, and there's Randy Moss. And Randy Moss gets injured on that hit. That's going to be a big blow for the Redwoods here. Moss seems okay. We're going to have to see what happened. He hasn't been taken to the locker room yet, so he's hanging in there. But we'll see the extent of this injury coming up in a few moments. We'll get our Armin Katea down on the field. There's the give to Saquon Barkley. Spin move, breaks out of it. Barkley. And that is how a very exciting first quarter is going to come to a close here in Los Angeles. Redwoods 14, Kiss 7. Under the lights of Thursday night action. Of course, we play the Thursday night, the Monday night, the Sunday night game. And then we pick the 2 best matchups from our Sunday dose, from one in the early game, one in the afternoon game, with our Sunday game. So bruised ribs with a high chance of re-injury. So we got to keep Randy Moss on the sideline for right now. Of course, our Sunday night game is a Patreon exclusive. So each week you get 4 XFL games right here on YouTube. And then the 5th game, if you want a little extra, patreon.com/tvsports27 is where that 5th game is going to be. Graham is going to get sacked. Greg Lloyd with the QB sack on Otto Graham. And they were looking to get touchdown number 3 for Graham, and fortunately Saquon, as much as he wanted to, trying to block 3 guys, wasn't going to happen there. And Otto Graham goes down. So now you got a 3rd and goal way backed up here. Graham, touchdown. 3 touchdown passes in the first half. And there's another one by Paul Warfield. The Sacramento Redwoods. We got a lot of possible big contenders coming up in the RXFL postseason. I mean, the Redwoods, the Golden Eagles, the Wolverines, some of your top names. And you kind of look at the bottom of the screen, too. The London Monarchs as well. Of course, John Elway was in a Revolution Bowl back in Revolution Bowl 4, so he knows how to get there. Portland as well. Can't discount the Portland Lumberjacks. You got the Lumberjacks and the Redwoods, right, out there. And Portland at 8-1 with Russell Wilson having a much better run in the RXFL than he did with the Denver Broncos. Of course, the big disappointment there, everyone thought the London Bulldogs were going to be the team. They have not lived up to the hype so far. Terry Bradshaw is going to hook up with Charlie Sanders. 8 yards on that. You see Leroy Selman for the Redwoods. You can see why this Redwoods team is so dominant. Jim Brown could not squeeze through the opening, and Charles Woodson is there again, and now Jim Brown is injured. So we saw Jim Brown go down. We've seen Randy Moss go down. And much like Randy Moss, a frustrated Jim Brown, but you had Eddie George, which is not a bad replacement. Eddie George already scored the touchdown earlier this evening. In fact, the only touchdown for the LA Kiss. Bradshaw is going to hook up with Sanders. No, they're going to say incomplete. Sanders could not hang on to it in the Kiss. They're going to go 3 and out again. And this is kind of a must-have drive for the LA Kiss, because Sacramento, 3 for 3, has stormed down the field and scored. We subbed out Jim Brown. If they score again, if it becomes a 28-7 game, it's going to be tough to come back. And, man, how about the confidence of Otto Graham? I mean, that was double covered Warfield, and he just slipped it in between, and the numbers for Otto Graham, absolutely fantastic. A renaissance of a career for the great Otto Graham here in the RXFL. That's going to be a... Oh, look at Saquon Barkley staying in bounds. Finally, the running game going. Look at the career highlights of Otto Graham. 11-time NFL champion, 3-time MVP, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL passing rating leader, which, look at the completion percentage. 3-time NFL completion percentage leader. He might get another one here in the RXFL. What a run this has been for Otto Graham. Plenty of time, and Graham finds Cooley. And it's beginning to turn into a disaster for the LA Kiss. Otto Graham went to a bunch of championships in the what was this league? The All-American Football Conference. Graham drops back, dumps it off to Barkley. Saquon Barkley, oh! Just gets held out of the end zone, and Otto Graham continues his big day. My goodness. Boy, the Cleveland Browns were a dominant team in the AA, what is it, the All-American Football Conference. Barkley gets tripped up, and well, it's going to be third down now for the Redwoods. Miami Seahawks, Brooklyn Dodgers, New York Yankees, Buffalo Bison. Look at these teams. The Miami Seahawks. Looking at this league that Otto Graham was in before. Oh, so close to 4 touchdown passes. That one's not going to be hung on by Stanley Morgan, and a somewhat win here for the LA Kisses. They're going to hold the Redwoods to a field goal, but you'd imagine it's going to be a pretty easy chip shot kick. And it is, to make it 24-7. So how did the Kiss answer back? How are they going to respond here? They need to get it on this drive. They're going to get the ball to begin the third quarter here. So, you know, they're right back in this with a, if they could put a 4-minute drive together, they're right in this thing, because they'll get the ball back and have a chance for a 14-point swing, which would put the Kiss right back in this. And it's just been, you know, they haven't been able to move the ball too well. And then the defense, and you see here it comes again as Terry Bradshaw goes down. And he's going to get sacked by Beeson. And that was a linebacker blitz that wasn't picked up by anybody. But I guess with the play call too, Bradshaw's got to recognize, you know, you got your running back. It's Arian Foster on this play. He's going out for a pass. So when that blitz is coming, you got to get rid of it. And Bradshaw did not pick that up. That's a big game right there. Oklahoma City and the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Pressure coming again. This time, Bradshaw does get rid of it, and Hines Ward diving for the markers isn't going to quite get there. So it's 3rd and 3. And a couple of 3-and-outs has been a lot of trouble for the LA Kiss as well. And there you go. Huge first down. Foster gets the block. Does not quite have the speed to turn the corner. That's a huge 27-yard run by Arian Foster. And it keeps the LA Kiss with a pulse here in this game. Hey, we're an hour and a half away from the XFL's return. I cannot wait. Bradshaw, what a catch. Devontae Adams. What an offensive juggernaut this game has been.
70 Indy.
And Terry Bradshaw's got the LA Kiss in striking distance. There's your 2-minute warning.
Okay, Brady, I see you. Come on, set. 15, line.
Jim Brown still on the sideline. You got Eddie George in the backfield. Low snap. The give is to Eddie George. And he gets brought down by Charlie Johnson. Third and 1. Bradshaw in the shotgun here on 3rd and 1. Incomplete, looking for Adams. The LA Kiss are lining up to go for it here on 4th and 1 rather than take the field goal. Did they get it? They did not get it. What a play call to go for instead of take the 3, which would have made it a 2-touchdown game. And now, with a minute and a half, 3 timeouts, this could be the Redwoods' opportunity to put this game out of reach. We'll see, and this is not a good start. Warfield, he's eventually going to run out of real estate there, but that was a big business play by Otto Graham and Paul Warfield, they've had a huge connection here this evening. And they got a minute to go, still got all their timeouts. Near collision, and Otto Graham is doing this right now without Randy Moss. We might get to see some Sacramento backups here, the way this is going. And Otto Graham does take a sack that time. What just happened? What just happened? There's the time. I don't know what just happened. I must have hit the wrong button here. But we're back. We're back. That was a quarterback sack. Mike Haynes, by the way, coming in and getting that QB sack. 3rd and 8. Oh, it's caught! Morgan goes out of bounds. I did not think that he was going to bring that in, because Otto Graham was just slightly off target for Morgan, but somehow Morgan found a way. Look at this. Oh, how did he get over there? He like zapped over there. Look at this. Look at this. I don't know how he made that stretch to get that catch. 30 seconds now. 2 timeouts. And it's incomplete. Jabbar Gaffney. And that's been about the extent of the incompletions for the Redwoods, has been drop passes. 2nd and 10. Here comes the pressure. Graham gets rid of it. And it's caught by Morgan. Timeout called by the Redwoods. Boy, oh boy, the LA Kiss. I bet they didn't see this coming. You got 2 top 5 teams going at it. And it is all in the favor of Otto Graham and the Sacramento Redwoods. Touchdown, Redwoods. That is a... Boy, that'll just... If you're an LA Kiss fan, that's just going to suck the life out of you. To get stopped on 4th down and watch your opponent in a minute and a half roll down the field and put the ball in the end zone. Wow. Sacramento Redwoods opening some eyes here in this Thursday night game. 31-7. And with 20 seconds to go, you ain't going to see much, I would imagine, on the LA Kiss side. Figure out a way to regroup in the locker room. And they are just going to run the football here. And that is going to take us to the half. Wow. What a first half if you're a Redwoods fan. Defense dominated and Otto Graham dominated. Look at that. You can't get much more dominant than that, than those numbers on the screen right there. Should we break this up into parts? We've kind of been playing around with doing that as of late, and it really did help the algorithm. So I'll tell you what, that's what we'll do. We'll put a stop to this video, this particular stream, for the algorithm, so we can get some different, break it up into parts here, like a first half and a second half, and a lot of people are more enticed to click on a 30-minute video than a 1-hour video. So we'll stop the stream here, and we'll start back up with the second half of this blowout between the LA Kiss and the Sacramento Redwoods.